change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more? Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it
Welcome to the West Coast at Auto Club Speedway, as for the 5th straight season it plays host to the regular season finale for the Duracell Cup Series. At the end of 75 laps today, we will know for certain who the 10 teams will be that will be in this season's playoffs in the battle for the championship. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Seth Cole. Welcome to what's going to be a pretty interesting battle to the finish. The scenarios are all in line, the storylines are ready to be written, and we've got a couple of confirmations of drivers and teams that are going to be in the playoffs, but we're still waiting to find out who that last 5 or 6 drivers are going to be. We're going to find that out when the checkered flag waves. On the pole position for today's race is going to be Stephen Colon. We saw him pick up his first career victory about a month ago back at the Nashville Super Speedway. He's driving for Lake Effect Autosport, the 47 team, which coming into today's race is the highest team in the points with a victory. They are 35 points above the cut line He just needs a solid day inside the top 10, and he, along with Jesse Turner and Daniel Voiles, they will be advancing into the postseason. On the flip side, on the outside of the front row, you got the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series. That is Jose Mills for the championship-winning Blue Oval Automotive team. Now, he is still looking for his first victory on the season, but even more importantly, that's one of the teams that has a victory this season that are outside of the cut line coming into this race. 13 points behind the cut line area for that team. Jose Mills would obviously love to be able to have a twofold here today with a victory first of the season and ensure that that car is going to have a shot at the championship down this 10 race postseason stretch. There's a lot of other drivers coming into this race that are in points in scenarios. There are drivers that are looking to preserve their spot in the playoffs, and there's a good bunch of drivers that are in a must-win situation, whether it be drivers that have already won this season, or teams that have already won this season, or teams that are still looking for their first win on the season. It's going to be a lot of fun to try and follow all that during the course of this race. If you know my track record, usually I try and do calculations of who's in, who's out. Think I've got it right by the end of the race, and then end up being surprised that I've gotten 2 or 3 of them incorrect. So, be sure to stick around once this race is over. We're going to have an official review video showing you what 10 teams are indeed going to be battling for the championship heading into the first playoff race next week. Let's show you for one final time here this season what your regular season point standings look like coming into this season finale. As it flashes up on your screen, I'm going to tell you what the playoff scenario is coming into this one. So currently, drivers that we know for absolute certain are going to be battling for the championship starting next week. The 78 team out of Auto Junction Racing with their 3 victories. They, for the moment, have locked up the number 1 seed. They are guaranteed moving on in the playoffs. Same can be said for the multi-win teams. 2 victories. The 19 team out of Pigeon Racing, the 77 team out of Auto Junction Racing, and the 95 team out of Smart Motorsports. All of those teams will be advancing. We talked about the 47 team, pole sitter Stephen Colon, 35 points above the cut line coming into this one. They right now sit in the number 5 seed. The number 6 seed currently held by the Daytona 500 winning team out of Haas Racing, the number 8. They're 24 points above the cut line. The 93 team out of KEB Racing Enterprises, they hold the number 7 seed currently, 17 points above the cut line. And last week at Bristol Dirt, we saw Nick Gunther pick up his first career victory. That moves them up into a playoff spot, currently slotted in the number 8 seed. They are 15 points ahead of the cut line coming into today. Then it starts getting really close. 9th seed, currently held by the 31 team out of Pigeon Racing. They're only 4 points above the cut line, and that cut line driver here today is going to be the only driver in the field that has a previous victory here at Auto Club. That's William Brock in the 48 out of Northeast Motorsports. Very, very interesting position that he comes into this race at. The 10th and final seed right now belongs to him. But right behind him, you've got the 32 team out of Pigeon Racing. They are 3 points behind the cut line. The 27 team out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports, they're 5 points behind the cut line. The 09 team out of S3 Motorsports, 9 points behind the cut line. The 01 team, which I believe this is the first time in quite a while, the Adrenaline Motorsports team behind the cut line, but only 12 points back. The 38 team we already talked about, they're 13 points behind the cut line. And the 6 team out of Pigeon Racing, they are 16 points behind the cut line coming into this race. So a good half dozen drivers could point their way back in. A good half dozen drivers could fall out of the playoffs based on what happens here today via points. You've got 3 teams that have already been to victory lane this season that are in must-win situations here today. They need that second win to leapfrog all of the one-time winning teams. They would include the 11 team out of Baker Gardner Motorsports, out of TCW Racing, I should say, the 15 team out of Legend Racing, and the 74 team out of Lake Effect Autosport, as well also as the 44 team out of 4 Racing Enterprises. Those 4 teams are in must-win situations. So who's got a shot here today if they get their first win on the season of being able to be in the hunt for the playoffs? Right now, it's only a handful of them, but the 65 team out of Everett Gardner Motorsports, the 03 team out of S3 Motorsports, the 2 team out of Young Motorsports, the 99 team out of Shadow Cult Racing, and the 21 team out of No Limits Racing. Those are the only teams right now that have a mathematical shot, if they win, of potentially moving into a playoff position. The most points a driver can gain if they win the race is 49 points. That's why it is only those 5 teams in particular that have a shot, if indeed they take a checkered flag here today. Well, folks, it's about that time. We're going down trackside for pre-race ceremonies, the singing of the national anthem, the command to fire the engines, before we get today's regular season finale, Under the Green. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Drivers, start your engines!
Pace car will roll off, leading the 29 car field with him. Before we get to the starting lineup, just one amendment I need to make here. When I lifted up the name of the teams that could advance into the playoffs with a victory, I did fail to mention the one team out of Michael Norman Motorsports, so they are second in the overall point standings. Alright, so the way they line up here today for 75 laps of racing at the Auto Club Speedway, it's Stephen Colon, your pole sitter, all Ford Mustang front row with Jose Mills to his outside, Zachary Fitzwater and Vince Almriego, they are in row number 2, Trent Dunham, RJ Bishop, row 3, row 4 finds JT Bryant and Zach Rogers, row 5, Dave Campos and Tristan Allen. Danny Wells and Bruno Harumi, they're in row 6, row 7 is Allison Rain and Andrea Serra. In row 8, Daniel Bouchard and the former champ Chris Dollerton. Diego Yepes will join Anthony McCrory in row 9, Charles Belding and William Micros. They will complete row 10. Sean Arndt and Nathan Norman, they're back in row 11. Chris Washer, Ryan Brommer in row 12. Jessica Shelton and Stephen Pollard III, the teammates, line up in row 13. William Brock, former winner here, back from season 1. He's going to roll off 27th. Alongside of Matt McIntyre, and bringing up the rear of the field here today will be Bradley Ream. This track has always been where we come to determine the playoffs. It's ready to play its part once again. Into the restart zone we head. Green flag is in the air. Final time in the regular season. We are racing the Duracell Cup Series Season 5. Fanned out going into turn 1, and Jose Mills was able to get to the top side, which we will see as the tires warm up will be the preferred lane, especially in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 you can battle on the bottom, but you do need drafting help, and Mills is going to clear all 3 lanes. Going into turn 3, looks like he's going to easily lead lap number 1 as they're 3 wide, now 4 wide. Trent Dunham put in a difficult position with Zachary Fitzwater and JT Bryant. They get out of that unscathed, and Mills is barely going to lead lap 1. I thought maybe for a moment I had told a falsehood because Vince Almriego got a big run there on the front straightaway, almost snaked away that lap. Way up the track there was Stephen Cologne. He definitely missed the entry to the corner. RJ Bishop almost followed him there. As we're 3 wide, back around the 5th position. 4 wide, further back, about 2 rows deep off of turn 4. Ryan Brommer was in the middle of that, along with Stephen Pollard III. There's the battle for 5th, now 4th. Danny Wells on the top, Trent Dunham in the middle. JT Bryant drifts up a couple grooves off the bottom lane, almost into Trent's door. And now Almriego trying to side draft Zachary Fitzwater for 2nd. Dunham had a big run, trying to get to the inside there. Ooh, contact was definitely made between the 12 and the 0-1. And Dunham looking to get a 2-for-1 here on the front straightaway. Chris Dollerton back there looking 4 wide on Tristan Allen. Dave Campos in that 4 wide situation. I think there was definitely contact there between the 11 and the 32. Dollerton had to bail out of the throttle that time. And now he's going to get put in the center with Andrea Serra to driver's left, Danny Wells to driver's right. Very quick exit to the rear of the field for our pole sitter, Stephen Cologne. All right, now he's back in 28th. That might have been strategy, though. Because remember, the 47 team comes into this race 35 points ahead of the cut line. So maybe just trying to make sure they didn't tear up their stuff here early and guarantee that they're going to be advancing into the playoffs, as we've got ourselves a challenge for the lead. Zachary Fitzwater to the inside of Jose Mills, and he's got drafting help down the back straightaway from Trent Dunham. The Chevrolet is ganging up on the Ford, and then here comes the Toyota of Tristan Allen. Fitzwater, I believe, has cleared for the spot. Can he drift up in front of Mills? No, he will not be able to off of turn 4. And Mills powering around on the top. Wills continue to lead. Now you got Diego Yepes there. 78, 2-time winner this season. Big reason why the 78 car is currently in the #1 seed, advancing into the playoffs. Also a big reason why, more than likely, after this race is over, that team will be in line for 15 bonus points towards the playoffs as the regular season champions. They are, if my calculations are correct, 59 points ahead of 2nd in the standings, which is the one team out of Michael Norman Motorsports. It's Dave Campos and Ryan Brommer. Did Campos get the wall? I'm not certain. He was close. If he didn't, really missed the entrance to the corner. With there being only 49 points you can gain in a single race, after last week, Auto Junction Racing's 78 team locked up the regular season championship. So those 15 bonus points are going to be huge, especially in the first round of the playoffs. I don't want to see a guarantee, but that's almost a lock into the round of 8. Look at this, 4 wide now, 5 wide back here. That was Allen, Yepes, Dollerton, Belding, and Rain that were in the mix of all that. Now it's 3 wide for 3rd. Trent Dunham doggedly still on the inside of Jose Mills, trying to get the lead. It's very difficult to catch your opponent on the outside, get to their right rear, which is the preferred way to make a pass, but you have the outside line through the corner. If you're going to be able to make a pass, you're going to have to find a way to hook up the bottom. We're seeing drivers try and do that, but not to much success. Anthony McCurry making his way up here in the 55. 1 week removed from Nick Gunther, putting that team into a playoff position with his victory at Bristol Dirt. Right now, Anthony in the 13th position, 15 points ahead of the cut line was the 15 team. There's the 32 car of Dollarton that we just talked about. They are 3 points behind the cut line coming into this race. The team they have to really keep tabs on is the 48 team, which right now William Brock, who started this race from 27th, hasn't made up much progress. I think he's back there now and still in the 28th spot. The former winner here, the only former winner that is in the field. Now, we have 2 former winners at this racetrack that are in the series, just not in this race. Dunham and Almriego, that Chevrolet coalition, along with Fitzwater, they're trying to do something against Mills. But William Brock, the only driver in the field that has won. Jesse Turner, who we saw last week, and Adam Garcia, who we'll see next week. They are also former winners here. Turner from Season 3 and Garcia from Season 4. You have to wonder what advice Turner might have given to Stephen Colon and what advice Adam Garcia gave to RJ Bishop in the 2. And how to approach this race. As Jose Mills has been dethroned from the lead. And I think he might have almost gotten the wall there off that corner. Almost made contact with Nathan Ormond. And new race leader is going to be the 0-1 of Vince Almriego. 0-1 team out of Adrenaline Motorsports had their victory at the Daytona Road Course with Jack Mitchell. For a good portion of the second half of the regular season, we're up in a playoff spot, but into today's regular season finale, 12 points behind the cut line as Pollard will now look to the inside. Kyle Matthews put that car in victory lane back at Martinsville. So Pollard, 9 points behind the cut line, trying to see if he can advance the S3 Motorsports entry into the postseason. There's Charles Belding, the 19 car. Now, that team, as we know, with victories from both Carson Gum and Matthew Rodriguez, they are going to be in the playoffs, right now holding on to the number 2 seed. But this team is, I'm not going to call it a must-win situation, but a win is probably what they're looking for today, based on the fact that you get 5 bonus points for every victory you get during the regular season. So right now, they would be in line for 10 bonus points. And if Belding were to get a 3rd victory today, they would get 15 bonus points towards the first round of the playoffs. So, you look at them, you look at the 77 team and the 95 team. They're all just out there for victories today. Try and pad those playoff points. Anthony McCurry's got a fast car. Top side on Pollard, crosses to the bottom on Almriego. One of the few drivers I've been watching who's been methodically making the passes on the top side. Though this time he had that momentum and he had to go to the bottom. Let's see if he can clear Almriego. He might have him cleared off of turn 2. Power move by the Panda Express Chevrolet, and McCurry will go to the point. Anthony started this race from the 18th position. It's only taken him 15 laps to get up here. So passing is possible. It's not easy, but it is possible. Matter of fact, Pollard, who's up here inside the top 5, rolled off the grid from the 26th spot. For those that are wondering, I mentioned about 3 of the former winners here at Auto Club. You're wondering who the other one was. It was Casey Nanico. Got his first career win here back in Season 2. Driving then the number 77 Toyota Camry out of Auto Junction Racing. So, we know that the 77 team is locked into the playoffs with their 2 wins on the season, but you saw just there top of your screen moments ago, the FedEx Toyota of JT Bryant. They don't have Casey Nanico with their team anymore. Casey Nanico is no longer in the series, but certain that Auto Junction Racing went back, looked over their race notes, and had an idea of what kind of a setup to give JT here today. Look at Allie Rain muscling her way up the middle. Remember, she is one of the teams we talked about that if they win here today, they automatically are moving into a playoff position. They are 8th in the overall point standings. They are the second highest team in points without a victory. And they are way ahead of teams like the 31 and the 48, who right now would hold the final 2 playoff positions. Oh, man, we nearly had our first caution. Pollard and Brommer were leaning on each other. Both were all sorts of out of shape through 1 and 2. And somehow they kept the fenders on it. We've talked about the incredible job by the 95 team out of Smart Motorsports. Sean Arndt, 2-time winner this season, getting that team up into the postseason, and he's back behind the wheel again here today. He's up right now inside of the top 5. After rolling off to first, we got a caution! Or someone's in the wall at least. Is that Fitzwater? It is. Fitzwater was up into the wall. I thought we were going to have a yellow flag come out. It sounded like a wreck, but just the 12 going up into the outside safer barrier, scraping it. All that speed lost drops him towards the rear of the field. And I've been noticing here as this run goes on, I don't know if it's as the tires heat up, they're losing more grip, but I'm seeing a lot of drivers drifting up off the bottom, about a half groove to a full groove. Been seeing a lot more contact through the center of the corner. So we have to keep our eyes on that, because so far we are about to run our 20th lap under green flag conditions. We know pit stops will be coming up in the near future. These drivers trying to get every little bit they can before they have to hit pit road, and they may be asking for just a tad too much. But we were 3 wide, 4 wide, about 3-4 rows deep moments ago. All of a sudden, we've only got a couple of 3 wide formations in the middle of the pack. We're single and double file up here at the front. Single file in the mid-pack, latter mid-pack area there. Things have gotten quite spread out now through the entirety of the field. McCurry continues to lead. 3 wide maybe. Nope. Double wide here. Oh, got some cars. I think that might be pitting. Saw some running really low on the track there. JT Bryant and Jose Mills. Mills led 10 laps, so he would be a little bit shorter on fuel than everybody else, I would think. That's why he hit pit road. Not certain about the strategy on the 77, but again, remember, that's a team that's basically out there just trying to get another victory before the regular season comes to a close, so maybe playing some short pit strategy. Looks like our leader McCurry's coming in this time. Vince Almriego going to follow him. Ali Rain appears to be coming down this lap. Shelton's in. Yepes, late dive onto pit road. Got ourselves about anywhere from 15 to 18 cars on pit road this time. That turned the lead over to Stephen Paul with the third, so that's a valuable bonus point for the 09 team. Matter of fact, all 4 drivers that stayed out here of this lead group, all former winning teams. As down pit road comes that top 4, along with Tristan Allen and Danny Wells. There's Brock, William Micros. And so who does the race lead cycle around to? JT Bryant won the battle off pit road between himself and Jose Mills, but we're waiting to see how it stacks up with the 55 of Anthony McCurry, who was the leader of the big pack that came down pit lane the lap after. And it does not look like JT is going to come out with this lead. Looks like McCurry is going to end up being the race leader when all is said and done. He's got a huge gap back to Ali Rain. Now we watch for the 09 of SP3. Where does he cycle around to? Auto Club is known as a speedway slash super speedway. And so therefore, it follows a lot of the super speedway dynamics in terms of draft. McCurry all by his lonesome, it's not exactly going to be helpful to him, and I'm not certain. Well, let's see. Pollard trying to get up to speed. Going into turn 3, McCurry's going to jump to his top side. Pollard almost got the lead here on the green flag completion of the pit stops, but not quite. McCurry swings around him, and he will indeed now officially go back to the front. Can lead his 6th lap of the day. 10 laps led so far, most today by Jose Mills. 6 laps also led by Vince Almriego in the 0-1, and then 1 lap led apiece there during those pit stops, 1 by Pollard and 1 by Sean Arndt. Third of the way through this race, still a long ways to go at Auto Club, which means we've got at least 1 more pit stop coming up, maybe 2, depending on how much fuel these drivers can save. McCurry is the leader. 2nd place is Pollard. 3rd now is Jessica Shelton. Ali Rain 4th, Jose Mills 5th, Diego Yepes in 6th, Sean Arndt 7th. JT Bryant would be 8th. 9th place Tristan Allen, and Danny Wells is currently in 10th. 11th is Nathan Ormond. 12th, Chris Dullerton. 13th, Ryan Brommer. 14th, William Brock. 15th, Charles Belding. 16th is William Micros. 17th under contest. Chris Washer currently has it. 18th then would be Vince Almriego. 19th, Andrea Serra. 20th, Daniel Bouchard. Matt McIntyre back in 21st. 22nd, Bruno Harumi. 23rd, Zach Rogers. 24th, Trent Dunham. 25th is Bradley Ream. 26th place is Dave Campos. 27th, RJ Bishop. 28th, Stephen Colon. And Zachary Fitzwater right now is in the 29th and final position. As the battle for the lead is on, and this may not be such a good idea. Side draft somebody, you're not going faster, you're making them go slower, and that group led by Shelton back there, they are catching the top 2 very quickly as they're lined up single file. Well, unless something drastic happens, a couple of teams that may not be advancing to the playoffs as they run right now, the 27 team and the 6 team, things not looking good for them. 74 team appears like they could be in danger of not advancing, despite the fact of Bradley Ream having that victory back at ISM earlier this season. I also might be a little bit concerned for the 8 team after Matt Haas put that car in victory lane in the season opening Daytona 500. And Shelton and Pollard, they're going to go by McCurry. Now, those teammates will battle for the lead down the back straightaway, but 24 points above the cut line for the 8 team. It's not impossible for them to fall outside of the playoffs. It's unlikely, but you got to come up with some strategy to get them up at least inside of the top 20, I think. Pollard continues to lead. Got a lot of teams up here that with a victory, they'd be going to the postseason. 09, the 03, the 55, the 65, the 15, the 38. These are all teams that would fit that scenario. Even the 11 back there of Tristan Allen in 9th. A checkered flag makes everything better. Matter of fact, as we look at our entire top, there's a top 12, I believe, up in this lead pack. The only team, the only driver I can see right now that would not advance into the playoffs with a victory would be Nathan Ormond in the 17 car. I believe that that team is too far down the point stands that even if they won today, they wouldn't gain enough points to be able to get up into a playoff seed. But every other car in this lead pack has a shot. Remember, we talked about 3 teams that have victories this season that are in a must-win situation. The 11 and the 15, who are both up in this lead pack, fit that scenario. Shelton, the 0-3, saying, hey, teammate, what have I got to do to lead a lap? Now she clears for the top position. Jessica Shelton, of course, teammates to Cole Deaver and Charles Sanford. Charles Sanford, a California native, so this is a home track for him. Jessica Shelton, very good when it comes to super speedway racing, and mentioned that a lot of the aspects of this type of race follow super speedway scenarios, and so no surprise to see her here up towards the front. Very impressive, the long run cars that S3 Motorsports brought to the track here today. Shelton and Pollard both up here towards the front, have both led laps now, and both started this race outside the top 20. Shelton was 25th and Pollard was 26th on the grid as Danny Wells trying to follow up his teammate Tim Walsh's victory earlier on this season. That team came into this race 26th in the overall point standings, but if Danny gets a second victory here today, they leapfrog everybody else and will be up, I believe, in the number 5 seed. Either the number 4 or number 5 seed heading into the playoffs. Team's called Legend Racing. Could Danny do something legendary here today? In that Air Jordan Chevrolet, he is clear for the top position. We have 12 cars up in this lead pack. Allie Rain right now is that last driver. Correction, 11 drivers up in this lead pack. Then you got group number 2 back here, being led by William Micros. Belding's in this group. You've got about only, 7 cars, I believe, in this pack. I'm going to keep an eye this next time by, see if they are catching the lead group or not. The last time by, William Micros was running a little less than 4.5 seconds behind race leader Danny Wells. Let's see what's going to be this time. It looked like lap time difference. It was about 0.2 of a second quicker for the lead pack to the second pack. This time by, second group lost 0.4. So that second group is going to need a caution right now as things look to get themselves back into this hunt, or they're going to have to rely on some very creative pit strategies. We're 4 wide. Dollarton, Mills, Pollard, and Allen. So the teams that look like they're in good shape right now to advance into the playoffs, as things currently stand. The 93 team, if they could stay there in 12th, they're in good shape. The 55 team with McCurry right now inside the top 5, they are in good shape. William Brock was the cutoff line driver. He's running in 14th. Right now, they're looking okay. But the only team right now, only 2 teams I've seen that look like they could advance their way into the playoffs through points that were outside the cut line coming into this race would be the 09 team and the 32 team. Pollard last time by was scored 5th. Dollarton last time by was scored in 8th. So who would they knock out? One of those teams might be the 31 team with Ryan Brommer last time by in 17th place. And then the other team potentially could be that 8 team, as we mentioned, Dave Campos, mired back in 26th. He just picked up that spot from Bradley Ream moments ago. But there's not much ahead of him for spots to be able to pick up. He's only got 2 other drivers per position in the group he's in, RJ Bishop and Zachary Fitzwater. That's a full 5 seconds up to Matt McIntyre, who is in group number 3, if you will. The lead pack right now has Wells, Shelton, Yepes, McCurry, Mills, Pollard, Ormond, Allen, Dollarton, Rain, Arndt. Second pack has Micros, Belding, Sarah, Almeriego, Brock, Brommer, and Washer. Then you got pack number 3 with Rogers, Bouchard, Harumi, Dunham, and McIntyre. And then pack number 4, which is RJ Bishop, Zachary Fitchwater, Dave Campos, Bradley Ream, and Stephen Cologne. Don't know if we ended up having it here or not. If you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. But JT Bryant is back on the racetrack, but he is 2 laps down. So uncertain what happened with him. Might have been a pit road incident. Remember, he came down pit lane with Jose Mills. They were the first 2 to dive onto pit road, so maybe had an incident leaving his pit stall when that first big pack came down pit road, perhaps. Not certain what the issue was, but not going to be the day the 77 team was looking for. It's a good thing they had those 2 wins in the bank, ensuring they're going to be in the playoffs. Starting to check off teams right now. Look like they will not be advancing into the postseason. Came into this race with a shot at it. The 27 team looks like they will not be advancing. The 6 team look like they will not be advancing. 0-1 team right now, despite the fact that Almeriego was out leading a number of laps in the early going, looking like unless something drastic happens there, they may not be advancing into the postseason either. The teams right now that we're keeping an eye on that were below the cut line coming into this one are the 09, the 38, and the 32. And of course, if Danny Wells or Jessica Shelton go to victory lane, that could change things up because Danny Wells would jump up above all the other drivers or all the other teams with 1 victory. If Shelton wins, then she would have to hope that she would be ahead of the 32 and the 09, as well as bypass the 48 and the 31, who right now they would hold the final 2 playoff seeds coming into this race. Now, the thing I'm looking at here, too, that I find very interesting, I mentioned, I kind of hinted at this back when the first round of green flag pit stops were taking place. Most of the drivers came down on laps 23 to 24. So we're expecting them to be down pit road again just on the eve of the completion of lap 50. So we're looking about, what, 23 to 25 maybe laps on a tank of fuel. If that's the case, we have a scenario where drivers would be making that 3rd and final pit stop in the realm of less than 5 to go. Would somebody with a playoff position potentially on the line be willing to try and stretch the gasoline to make it to the checkered flag? If that's the case, then a lot of these teams that we're talking about right now that look like they might not be able to advance in the playoffs, but they could flip the script. And if they pick up a victory, then they are automatically locked in. So, we are basically giving you scenarios of the current running order. And that just took all that scenario out the window. There's no way anybody's going to be able to stretch it from here to the end now if they're all coming down pit road with 30 laps to go. Shelton leading down Ormond and McIntyre. Danny Wells was the only driver there up towards the front, it looks like, that elected to stay out an extra lap. Pollard did as well, Tristan Allen and Sean Arndt. So we've got one more pit stop that will be coming up after this, and that will be the money stop. Nobody will be able to stretch it to the checkered flag from here. That scenario that I was just painting is not going to come to fruition. So, Danny Wells going to come down pit lane. Trio of drivers from that second pack, Micros, Sarah, and Belding. Jose Mills was already in the lap prior. Looks like Vince Almeriego might stay out an extra lap here along with Chris Washer. Nope, they actually were on pit road the lap prior also. So this should potentially turn the lead back over to Danny Wells. If not, we're going to keep tabs on the 0-3 of Jessica Shelton, who was the leader of the big group that came down pit road first under this pit stop cycle. If Shelton closes out the deal here today with the victory, that's going to be back-to-back races where a team that was up inside of the top 10, top 15 in points got a last-minute victory in the last 2 races of the season to clinch a playoff spot. Nick Gunther did it last week at Bristol Dirt, and Shelton's trying to do it here today at Auto Club. She's got the momentum, but will she be able to get to the outside of Pollard and Danny Wells to take the race lead? No, they're going to create a wall. And now we're going to have ourselves a battle between Pollard, Shelton, Wells, and Ormond for the top spot going into turn 1. Pollard a little bit out of the groove there, as now it will be Shelton and Ormond. Shelton gets the power down off of turn 2, and she will indeed be the one who cycles to the lead at the completion of our second round of green flag pit stops. We'll wait for them to cross the line, and we will try and give you a full field rundown of who is where. Shelton will indeed jump to the top of the board. Ormond crosses second. Pollard third. Danny Wells in fourth. Fifth place right now, Jose Mills. Chris Dollerton in sixth. So both of those teams making pretty good cases for themselves to maybe advance into the playoffs. Sean Art was 7th. Anthony McCurry 8th. Tristan Allen in 9th. Allie Rain crossed in 10th. William Brock 11th. William Micros in 12th. Diego Yepes 13th, 14th. Adria Serra, Vince Almariego 15th. Chris Washer 16th. Ryan Brommer 17th. 18th. Charles Belding. Zach Rogers 19th. Danny Bouchard completed the top 20. Bruna Harumi 21st. 22nd. Matt McIntyre. Bradley Ream in 23rd. Trent Dunham 24th. Zachary Fitzwater 25th. RJ Bishop in 26th. Dave Campos in 27th. Stephen Colon in 28th, and right now 1 lap down is JT Bryant in 29th. He will probably lose that lap when he eventually has to come to pit road for a regularly scheduled stop. That should be within the next couple of laps. Trying to work the calculator here to figure this out because I've got, whoa! I almost had a caution right there. Wells and Pollard getting together. I'm trying to figure out who's in, who's out. And it's very meager points between about 5-6 drivers for those final playoff positions. William Brock, the cutoff line driver, is running in 11th. Chris Dollerton, 3 points behind him, is running 6th. Jose Mills, who is 13 points behind the cut line, is running 5th. So I'm not certain if Mills is in a playoff spot right now. I don't think he is. The 09 car of Pollard is running 3rd, but he was 9 points behind the cut line. I don't think right now he's in a playoff position. Unless we do a comparison from... Well, no, even if we do a comparison from them to Ryan Brommer, who right now is mired back at 17th, it would be Dollerton who would be taking the playoff spot from Brommer. Dave Campos right now would be the big question mark driver too, of how many positions, how many points he would lose out on. 24 points to the good over the cut line. So if we, let's compare him to Dollerton, that'd be 27 points. Dollerton right now in 26th, has not led a lap. Dave Campos back, or make that Dollerton in 6th. Dave Campos in now 24th, so that's 18 points that Dollarton would gain. That's not enough. If my calculations are correct right now, I believe the only position that has changed hands in the playoff scenario is Dollarton, the 32 team is in. Brommer, the 31 team is out. As things currently stand. But that could all change based on who would be in the 10th seed. They would be knocked out if Shelton was to win here today. So that's why you got to stay tuned after this race and find out officially who is in, who is out, because I'm not going to tell you just off the top of my head that this driver's in, this driver's out. Too many times I've done that, and then we head into the postseason for the first race and I say, oh yeah, by the way, this team did not make it and this driver did make it, and I'm not going to do that this year. We're going to know. We're going to have the official 10 teams. Right now, the only teams I can tell you that are absolutely locked in are the 78, 19, 77, and 95. I believe, based off of the points cushions they had coming into today and where they're currently running, I believe that the 8 and the 47, that they can advance just based off of the cushion between them and the cut line. Not 100% certain, but I believe they can. Everybody else, though, it's a crapshoot. 93 team looks good. 55 team looks good. Right now, with the 55 in 9th and the 93 in 12th. But a lot can change between now and the checkered flag. And again, a lot depends on whether Shelton wins this race or not. If Shelton wins this race, if Pollard wins this race, if Danny Wells wins this race, if Mills wins this race, if the top 4, if any of them go to victory lane, that moves the cut line down. We're looking at William Brock. I say keep an eye on him because they're about to catch 2 drivers up ahead of them, Tristan Allen and Anthony McCurry, and they are slowly reeling in the lead pack. And remember, William Brock's the only driver in the field that has previous experience of winning here. Started 27th after 2 pit stop cycles, is now up inside of the top 10. William Brock, when he ended up picking up the victory here back in Season 1, he was driving the number 88 for Northeast Motorsports. So same equipment, maybe same setup. And I'll tell you what, doing a heck of a job here too in the fact that he did not have good starting track position, as we've well documented, and he came into this race the cut line driver. That's a lot of pressure for somebody. He has risen to the occasion. Very well done job by him, as I believe our leaders might be catching JT Bryant in the 77. JT is not even hitting 170 by himself. Race leaders were 180 through the corner. Shelton at 190, JT at 180, so there's about 10 miles per hour difference. They're going to eat him up pretty quick, and if they catch him in a wrong spot and lose momentum, that's going to help that second group try and be able to catch up. If that second group catches up, we're going to go from a 7-car pack up here at the front to a 17-car pack. They're going to catch him here through the center of the corner. Where does Shelton go to try and make a pass here on the 77? She's going to go to the bottom. Jose Mills started on the outside of the front row. He's now taken the second spot from Stephen Pollard III. We looked at the teams coming into this season. The 38 team was singled out as a powerhouse team. Jose Mills, the most winningest driver in the Duracell Cup Series. Jordan Lopez, former champion, and Trey Wright, former Daytona 500 winner. They had a victory this year with Jordan Lopez, but outside of that, they've really been struggling. 16th in the overall points, 5th team outside the cut line. As JT Bryant trying to stay 2 laps down, or actually trying to stay 1 lap down to the leaders. By hearing some more idling engines up ahead, yeah, it's the 47 of Stephen Colon. Started on pole, you talk about drivers that started it towards the back and worked their way to the front. Flip side, Colon led us to the green. Didn't even lead the first lap. Dropped to the rear of the field, and he has been a non-factor ever since. They were 35 points ahead of the cut line, though, was the 47 team. So I think they are safe. But you never know, running 28th out of 29 drivers. Jose Mills trying to set up Shelton for a pass. Shelton trying to get around JT. Oh, is she going to get caught out here on the bottom is the question. JT Bryant could play a huge part in the outcome of this race. And again, let's not forget, we still got 1 more trip to pit road for these guys. Now let's see if that second pack has been able to close up any ground since the lead pack caught JT Bryant, and no, they are losing ground. So the only shot that second group has is they have to hope that they can get bunched up quicker than this first pack, that this first pack gets broken up into singles and duos, and they could try reeling them in then after the pit stop cycles are complete. I think that's the only shot drivers in that pack have. William Brock, Anthony McCrory, William Micros, they're just trying to preserve their spots currently in the playoff seeds that they currently sit, which right now would be seeds 7, 8, and 10. Very vulnerable. We're coming up on what's going to be considered the money stop too. You cannot have any mistakes on this pit stop. Your chance of advancing into the postseason hangs in the balance. I believe we're going to have our race leaders ducking onto pit lane somewhere in the next 3 to 5 laps. Expect the first one to be the second place running 38 of Jose Mills. He's been the first one to pit road both times. So when he dives onto pit road, then we know that we're probably going to see everybody else on pit road the lap or 2 after. Battle for third. Sean Arndt to the inside of Stephen Pollard III. As maybe the 03 and the 90 or 38 might be coming to pit road this time. Nope, it's just the 38. All by his lonesome. There was a car up ahead of him too that was coming down pit road. Couldn't tell who it was. Oh, that's Cologne, the 47. You know, you talk about those teams that are already locked in. Right now, the 95 is the only one of those 4 teams that is up here towards the front. One thing you want to have going into the playoffs as well, when you know you're going to be advancing into the championship battle, is good momentum. Get a good finish in the regular season finale, and that momentum could carry over to the next driver in the opener for the playoffs. Now, right now, 95 is the only one up here at the lead. 78 car is back in 15th. The 19 car is back in 17th. And the 77 car is 2 laps down, as we've documented there, that FedEx Toyota of JT Bryant as Shelton. Oh, no! Caution's going to come out as Stephen Colon boxed Shelton off of pit road. And the 95 of Sean Arndt was collected. Caution is out. And this changes everything. A couple of drivers got trapped a lap down. I think for the most part, those that came to pit lane should stay on the lead lap. Maybe. Oh my goodness. Shelton was trying to get to pit lane. She tried to swing around the outside of Cologne, who had just left pit road. Was not clear, got hooked, sent up the track from the lead, we might add. And the 95 of Sean Hart collected up as well. Pit road is open. There's the 47 of Cologne. That is not going to be a popular move right there. And just like that, the 0-3 team, who was looking like they could advance into the playoffs if Shelton was able to close out the deal with the victory, now it's looking like their playoff hopes are gone. Danny Wells, the race leader. Oh my gosh, I saw RJ Bishop cutting through the entrance of pit road. I thought he was going to take out the 55. But Danny Wells is the race leader, and he's coming down pit road now. Who's on the lead lap? Who's not in the lead lap? Who's going to cycle out as the top driver when all is said and done? I don't know, but first time today we're jumping back and looking at a replay. And this caution came out with about 7 to go. We're going to get a restart. We are going to get back green, but it's going to be a shootout now. Wow. I'll tell you what, I did not think we were going to have ourselves a caution, especially this late in the race. But that's why you can never take anything for granted in the Duracell Cup Series. Here's a look at what happened. Jessica Shelton probably had the hand out the window down the back straightaway saying, hey, I'm coming to pit road this time. Cologne in the 47 yields the top, and then as Shelton bails out of the throttle, Cologne is still to her inside. And up the track they go, nowhere for the 95 of Sean Hart to be able to go. Yet another driver very lucky that the team has 2 victories and will be in the postseason. But I talked about that momentum that you'd like to have going into the postseason. Here's a look at it again. Yeah, Shelton bails out of the throttle, pulls low. Cologne stayed to the bottom to let the faster cars on by. So in all honesty, I'm not sure if I can fault the 47. He did what he was supposed to do. Watch this from the helicopter cam. We're going to focus on the 47. He does everything right. Coming off of pit road. Faster way around the racetrack's the top side, so he's going to yield the bottom. Still on the inside line. He never changes course. He pushes up a little bit maybe off the bottom, but that's typical of what happens here at Auto Club. Shelton had so much momentum, she had to make a choice there, and she decided that she was going to try and go around the outside of the 47, clear him by time she had to hit pit road, and that's just not how it worked out. And that was a costly, costly error that is subsequently going to take the 0-3 team out of the running for a playoff position. Unless by some miracle Shelton's able to get back up here, which I don't see that happening because she's got rear end damage now, and there's only going to be maybe 3 to go when we get the indication of going back green. Well, heartbreak for one S3 Motorsports car, but it then puts the other S3 Motorsports car as the race leader. SP3 is going to be the one to lead us back to the green flag, as he was able to stay on the lead lap after making his pit stop, stayed out when the rest of the leaders ahead of him came to pit lane. Nathan Orman will line up behind him in second. Chris Dollerton currently holds third. And then there's going to be a lap machine of JT Bryant between Dollerton back to Ali Rain in fourth. Chris Washer's now fifth. Diego Yepes in sixth. Brun Harumi in seventh. Zach Rogers is now up in 8th. The playing field has completely changed. Danny Wells is in 9th. Anthony McCurry in 10th. So Wells, who was the leader when the caution came out, is now back in the latter half of the top 10. Tristan Allen lines up 11th. Ryan Brommer in 12th. 13th, William Micros. 14th, Andrea Serra. 15th, Trent Dunham. Charles Belding, 16th. Dave Campos, 17th. 18th is Jessica Shelton, and RJ Bishop right now is the last car on the lead lap at the tail end of the field in 19th. You got about half dozen drivers that are going to restart ahead of Pollard, who are also on the tail end of the lead lap, but were behind the pace car when they stayed out at the 1 to green. They are Jose Mills in 20th, William Brock 21st, so now that 48 car is in trouble, the cutoff line driver. Vince Almriego is 22nd, Danny Bouchard 23rd, Bradley Ring 24th, Matt McIntyre 25th, and Zachary Fitzwater in 26th. Sean Arndt is out of the race. He'll be, it looks like, finishing 29th today. Stephen Colon is a lap down in 28th, and JT Bryant still 2 laps down in 29th. So now the 48 car is vulnerable, being on the tail end of the lead lap, but right now in no position to advance any higher than maybe 20th in today's finishing results. Pollard could lock the 09 team in, both via points or with a victory. Right now, I would say keep an eye on the 32 and the 09. They could be advancing in here today as the green flag is out. 3 laps to go here at Auto Club, and things are stacking up at the front. Dollarton tried the top, but now he's stuck behind the 47 of Cologne. He's dropping back. Pollard is clear for the lead. Now he'll try and jump to the inside on Bradley Ream in the 74. Battle for second between Yepes in the 78 and Ormond in the 17. There'll be 2 to go this time by. Danny Wells in the 15, don't count him out. He's now back up there. Last time by in 5th. Zach Rogers there in the 6th. They're almost a must-win situation now. Pollard trying to do everything he can to keep that group of 4 in his rearview mirror. Then it's a ways back to Tristan Allen, who got wadded up with the slower traffic. Pollard's going to dive to the bottom of Matt McIntyre. Is that going to be a good decision? As this time by, they'll see the white flag. They're 4 wide ahead of him as he'll make some contact, lose some momentum off the corner. Here comes the 78. Diego Yepes looking for his 3rd win on the season, 4th win for the 78 team. Can Pollard hold him off? Danny Wells, high, wide, and handsome on the top side. Where does he go? Rogers trying to make a move back there. Yepes, will he be able to get the lead from Pollard here into 3 and 4? Final time here at Auto Club. Pollard holds the bottom, boxes in the 78, and off turn 4 for the final time. Stephen Pollard III, first career win here today at Auto Club Speedway. The 09 will advance into the Duracell Cup Series playoffs with 2 victories on the season. But who joins is the question. I'm trying to do the calculations in my head. The 09 team came into this race below the cut line, -9. With this second victory, they leapfrog all the one-time winners off the heels of Kyle Matthews' victory at Martinsville a few weeks ago. This is going to be the second time Auto Club gives us a first-time winner. Casey Nanico was the first back in Season 2. Ryan Brommer was able to come back for a 7th place finish. And they were 4 points above the cut line. So if my calculations are correct, and again, they may not be, but I believe that only 1 position changed hands in the entirety of this playoff grid. I believe that the 48 team is out. The cutoff line team, with Brock finishing 22nd, And Pollard, with that win, they leapfrog the S3 Motorsports entry into the playoffs. I believe everything else may potentially stay the same. Anthony McCrory finished 16th. The only driver that could have had a shot of taking advantage of that, I believe, would have been the 32 car, which only finished 2 positions ahead. The 93 team, where did they finish? They finished in 19th. They were 17 above the cut line. And the 32 team was not able to take advantage of that. The 27 team was a non-factor. The 0-1 team was a non-factor. The 38 team was a non-factor since they were all on the tail end of the lead lap and were going to finish no better than 20th today. The only other team that maybe could play a factor is the 6 team with Zach Rogers, who finished the day in 4th. Now let's see here. If the 0-9 jumps up into the playoffs and knocks out the 48, then it would be between the 31 and, I believe, the 6. 20 points difference between those two teams, and the 6 only finished 3 positions ahead of the 31. So I believe, just based off of rough calculations, that it's going to be the 78 getting in with 3 wins, the 19, the 09, the 77, and the 95 getting in with 2 wins, and then the 47, the 8, the 93, the 55, and the 31, I believe, are going to be the final teams with single victories that are going to advance into the playoffs. Again, my calculations are rough. I am not 100% certain on this. This is just based off of what I am calculating in my head. Stay tuned. We will show you the full official playoff grid heading into next week. But what a topsy-turvy race this was. It looked like it was going to be green flag all the way. Pit strategy was going to come into play. We get that late race yellow. All of a sudden, drivers that looked like they were out of it got second chances, got new life breathed into their championship opportunities. And while we had all these different scenarios of as many as 3 or 4 drivers making their way in and 3 or 4 drivers falling out, it looks like at the end of the day, only one position for 2 teams ended up changing hands. 1 team advancing in and 1 team getting knocked out. The rest all stayed stationary. But again, we have to wait for the official word. But how about Stephen Pollard III here today? I'm trying to remember what track it was that he ended up finishing runner-up. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Nashville Super Speedway when he finished runner-up to Stephen Colon. Came so close to getting that first career win. And here today, he finally does break into the winner's circle. And it is going to be a big win for him and for that 09 team who, if you'll recall, the 09 team was actually outside the top 20, might have been outside the top 25 of the point standings at one point this season, was really struggling, but after Kyle Matthews got that victory at Martinsville, the consistency continued on, and now Matthews, Pollard, Fogler, they're going to be beginning the postseason in the playoffs. We'll keep an eye on that team for sure. 78 team with Diego Yepes, they got close to getting their 4th win on the season, 3rd win on the season for Diego Yepes himself. But that is obviously enough for them to lock up the regular season point standings as well, the regular season championship. So they've got those 15 bonus points locked up. So close for Danny Wells, a must-win situation for that 15 team. They're going to come away with a good run here today in 3rd, but they will not be advancing into the championship battle. Same can be said for the 6th team, I believe. It was Zach Rogers. It's going to be the first time in a number of seasons that Zach Rogers will not be battling for the title. Gave it a yeoman's try there at the end. He'll get 4th. Nathan Orman to complete the top 5 and 5th. That 17 team really needed a good run today. They've been struggling, and they get a solid outing. Tristan Allen gave it a shot there at the end as well. He'll finish in 6th, but it looks like the 11 team will not be battling for the championship. Ryan Brommer, though, great comeback run for him in the closing stages to finish in 7th. Looks like they will be advancing into the playoffs. Ali Rain, Trent Dunham, Chris Washer, these are teams that were in must-win situations. Not going to be the case for any one of those particular drivers or teams. Dave Campos, he was running outside of the top 15 for pretty much the entirety of this race. He's going to battle back for 11th, so the Daytona 500 winning team, they will be in the playoffs. Andrea Serra, good run there in 12th. RJ Bishop, Chris Dollerton, Jessica Shelton. That's the heartbreak of the race for sure right there. Shelton looked like she was going to more than likely win this race, but ended up having a pit road miscue there, trying to get onto pit lane for the money stop, involved in a wreck that brought out the game-changing caution at the end of this race. She'll finish in 15th. Anthony McCurry, looks like that might be enough for him to advance based off of Nick Gunther's victory last week. 16th for him. Belding, Harumi, and Mike Rose finished 17th through 19th. They were the last cars to finish at the tail end of the field on the lead lap. And then just tough breaks there for a number of teams that looked like they could advance into the playoffs, whether through a win or through points. That caution falling at a horrible time for them. No opportunity to advance any higher than 20th, the 38, the 01, the 48, the 27. These are teams that will not be in the playoffs. 74 team was a must-win situation there with Bradley Ream. They finished a lap down in 26, so they will obviously not be advancing into the playoffs as well. 77 team had 2 wins in the bank. So too did the 95 team. So despite the fact that they finished way down off the lead lap and in the garage area, they're going to be heading into next week still in the playoffs. And the 47 team that started on pole 2 laps down in 28th, 35 points ahead of the cut line. I believe they are going to be able to advance still, though. So very lucky for a trio of drivers right there, a trio of teams that they had those wins, had those points in the bag coming into this race, or it might have been a very different story. But nonetheless, folks, that's going to do it from Auto Club. It is time now to find out who is advancing into the playoffs, who is going to be in the hunt for the championship beginning next week. So, as you guys will be looking at that video in just a moment, congratulations once again to Stephen Pollard III on his first victory of his Duracell Cup Series career. If you enjoyed this regular season finale, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We showed you full finish results. Here come your playoff standings heading into next week. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. The playoffs are now beginning here in the Duracell Cup Series Season 5.